Welcome to your new religion, the Church of Dog. Let me ask you, have you been disillusioned by the attitudes and actions of some humans? Do you believe that members of the canine family better represent the values you wish to see in the world? How lucky are we as humans to be embraced by dogs as partners in an otherwise harsh world? The graciousness of the holy dog has been offered to us for thousands of years, despite our many flaws. Well, my fellow dog-loving humans, your new religion is finally here. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Church of Dog. During each sermon on this podcast, we will be providing updated segments about very important issues. These include This Dog in History, true stories celebrating the awesomeness of the holy dog through factual accounts, community news, and human Evolosers, people who prove the devolution of mankind right before our eyes. I am Reverend Canis, and I couldn't be more excited to form this religion along with you. I invite you to get in on the ground floor with the status of original member. A bit later, I will tell you how you can help create specifics of our new religion. Yes, brothers and sisters, there is much to do in order to establish the Church of Dog. In the meantime, we shall get to today's first segment.
It is time for
This Dog in History.
The year is 1932. The place, Oslo, Norway. A big St. Bernard puppy is born to its human partner, Erling Hafto, the captain of the fishing vessel called the Thorod. Now, as you know, all dogs are divine and special, and Bamse was no exception. The name Bamse in Norwegian means bear, teddy bear, or big boy, all of which seemed to fit him nicely. When Captain Hafto brought Bamse aboard the Thorod, the large dog took to the sea immediately, warmed by his thick coat of fur. Bamse enjoyed the life thoroughly, and the ship's crew quickly embraced the large dog. Bamse received mascot status for the Thorod, just a taste of the acclaim to come. But in addition to his mascot duties, he also pulled his own weight, a feat in itself. Bamse had a special talent for dispute intervention, a skill in high demand on a boat full of temperamental sailors and alcohol at sea. In fact, when two salty fishermen would begin to fight, Bamse was the perfect interventionist. Bamse's method was always the same and always effective. He would get behind one of the two sailors, stand on his hind legs, put his meaty paws on the sailor's shoulders, and tower over him. Now, if you can imagine this happening to you, you should not be surprised that the fighting stopped immediately. Look, Bamse, the weight of your paws made me suddenly realize that we are like brothers. Watch me give my brother a hug, Bamse. Praise be our guiding good boys. Unfortunately, the ship's crew was not as easy to control when they docked. Shore leave was a time for family and friends, but mostly it was a time for the fisherman's favorite pub. Cue Bamse. It is well documented that he would leave the boat and had actually taught himself to catch the local town bus. The bus driver was agreeable to allow this special passenger, or at least was afraid to tell a St. Bernard he couldn't ride, and without any prompting, Bamse knew exactly where his stop was each time. A short jog later, Bamse would enter the pub and began rounding up the crew. No bus pass? No problem. Captain Hafto would affix bus passes to Bamse's collar, and the crew would use them to return for their next voyage. While Bamse was quite good at his current job, there was an evil force not far away that had reached fruition. World War II was beginning, brothers and sisters, and the Third Reich was spreading across Europe fast. Captain Hafto and crew were drafted by the Norwegian forces to fight Germany, and the Thorod was instantly changed from a fishing vessel to a military minesweeper. It is unclear how many of the original crew were also drafted or if other military sailors were assigned to the boat, but one thing was very clear. Bamse would be standing at the bow in the cold wind, leading the Thorod and its crew against a global threat. The fall of Norway was quite fast, unfortunately, but the Thorod was one of only a handful of ships to narrowly escape German pursuers to England, and it continued its duties as a minesweeper in the Allied effort. It was during this important military work that two events occurred. One documented moment happened when one of the Thorod sailors fell overboard into the choppy, cold sea. Bamse did not hesitate to jump into the turbulent waters after him and dragged him back to the boat, both chilled to the bone, no doubt. But luck was not always on Captain Hafto's side, and the other documented incident occurred when a German boat overtook the Thorod in battle. The Thorod's crew fought intensely on the slick deck, trying to keep the German soldiers from forcefully boarding. Despite a valiant struggle, however, one German soldier managed to breach the hole, which threatened the possession of the boat. Until Bamse introduced himself to the soldier. Witnesses saw the St. Bernard rear up and push the soldier so hard that the man fell back into the sea. Here's something you might know, congregants. Dogs hate Nazis. Legend even has it that Hitler's own dogs stayed with him only to distract him and waste his time by making terrible paintings of the beautiful German shepherds. Heroes, every one of them. In one of my research sites, I learned that Bamse actually had a book written on him, at least one. So if you're interested in reading more about him, I'm sure I've just given you a taste of his life. Bamse had other moments of greatness and not only achieved royal mascot status for Norway, but went on to become the official mascot for all Allied forces during World War II. Among your other many awards and honors, Bamse, you have also been deified by the Church of Dog.
Hey, it's
Community news.
Ours is an original community, brothers and sisters, a new religion, but just as legitimate as any other. And the newness makes it even more exciting. There is much to be established, and we look to you for your creative help. Do you have an idea for an official holiday? Perhaps you are a prophet and can divine dog-related commandments. Logo and website design, the original story of the bond between the holy dog and man, all need your contribution. And speaking of our religious holidays, here are several to begin so that we may stay home with our dogs as many days of the year as we can. December 26, Good Boy Bad Toy Day. On this holiday, you can see that dogs are not completely infallible. Good boys often mistake human possessions as chew toys, and on this day they can indulge themselves. It is celebrated by offering them items normally off limits. That left shoe of a new pair, your precious remote control, an antique footstool. The nicer the possession sacrificed, the greater your faith. Or use any unwanted gifts you receive. Get rid of that hideous tie someone gave you for Christmas. Tug of war, anyone? This is an official religious holiday for the Church of Dog, so feel free to take the day off work to celebrate. January 1st, Dawn of the Dog. The beginning of a new day in the chapter of canine sanctity. January 2nd, Bamse Day. This day recognizes the heroic St. Bernard as mentioned in our segment, This Dog in History. Celebrate it or risk the presence of Bamse's large mitts on your shoulders. January 3rd, Belly Rub Bonanza Day. Don't hold back on the indulgent chest scratches on this day. Your dog awaits your belly rubs. There are too many rubs to go to work today. This is another official religious holiday. In fact, all of our holidays are official religious holidays, and your employer should recognize that. January 4th, Wag the Tail Day, submitted by Princess P. This day celebrates the wagging of tails, a dog's communication of joy in being with you. This holiday also features tail wagging competitions, focusing on speed and the potential of damage to nearby vases. Don't worry, Doberman Spaniels and others without long tails. There's a separate category for dogs with awesome nubs. They are short but powerful. January 5th, Puppy Papoose Day. Strap 'em in and go on an adventure. If you don't know any puppies or small dogs, any dog you can physically carry will do. But a warning, if your bond is with a Bamse-sized dog, you may be the one in the papoose. October 10. Ren 10-10, which of course happens on 10-10 of each year. This holiday celebrates the Hollywood depiction of good boys and our human relationships with them. Some are comedies, some are tragedies, but all are important archival footage. Today, pop in for The Love of Benji, a classic, and enjoy the relationship of good boys and humans. Turning to a financial matter, this wouldn't be a religion without the exploitation of its members, and the Church of Dog is no exception. Our tithing is the standard 10% of your income. Simply set aside that 10% of your paycheck, and then use that 10% to help pay your own bills. Things are expensive these days, and you should not be sending 10% of your income to a church of any kind. If you wish, a small amount of that 10% can be used to buy your good boys and good girls tasty treats. That's it for community news this time, but stay tuned for more information in each sermon.
And now, let's get to
Human Evolosers.
In this episode of Human Evolosers, we meet the smartest woman in Texarkana. Of course, this section is designed to demonstrate the devolving of mankind through their own silliness and arrogance, but we must give credit where it's due. In North Texas, a homeowner was doing some yard work at night. The woman had assembled a pile of brush and stacked it next to her house when she came across an incredible sight elsewhere in the yard. An animal, in nature, minding its own business. Unfortunately, this animal happened to be a snake and, although not venomous, was considered by the woman to be a very serious and immediate threat. So, rather than finish her yard work at night and then simply retire to her home, she did what any of you would do if you were a crazy person from Texarkana. She went to her shed, retrieved a can, and completely doused the snake in gasoline. Apparently, the woman was in so much fear for her life that she got close enough to the snake to pour the gas directly on it. But if you think you know where this story is headed, you couldn't be more wrong. She did not set the snake on fire. She instructed her son to set the snake on fire, which he eagerly did. For humans, stupidity is often a family tradition. The snake, slightly alarmed and somewhat confused by this turn of events, bolted like a shot right into a brush pile next to the woman's house. Within a few minutes, the brush pile fire had ignited the home and was uncontrollable. This is the actual transcript of the 911 call, courtesy of the Bowie County Sheriff's Department. Quote, "We were trying to kill a snake with fire," the woman said. "It done caught the house." "Caught the house?" asked the dispatcher. "Yes, the house is up in fire. Could you hurry up?" In the end, no humans were hurt, but the fire did burn the woman's house to the ground and spread to the neighbor's home, destroying 20% of it before it could be controlled by firefighters. The sheriff captain's comment to the press was, "Most snakes are harmless if left alone. Good advice next time you do some night gardening in Texas." And why would I say she was smart? No matter how ridiculous her actions, the Texarkana woman did one wise thing. She asked not to be named in the press. But thank you, Texarkana woman and son, for showing the world why dogs should be in charge. That's about all for our inaugural sermon, brothers and sisters. Stay tuned for further developments of our religion and consider participating with content suggestions if you wish. A special thanks to RFY, an original member, and despite being a human, a very good egg. And if you should feel particularly generous, please consider sending a few bucks to the Gray Muzzle Organization, a large rural home for giving unadoptable older good boys and good girls some great time in their twilight years. Full disclosure, although I have donated to them, I have not personally vetted this organization. I expect that they're quite legitimate and do wonderful work, but please feel free to do your own research of the Gray Muzzle Organization. Now, go forth, spread the good word of dog, and as always, treats be with you. Thank you to CNN, CBS News, Wikipedia, and Narrakeet for content assistance.